it would almost put the center of the tornado right on the county line right now. And for Galesburg's sake, it is staying on that easterly course, which is good because prior to this, it was turning a little bit to the north. That's why it kind of looked like it was following Highway 34, even as Highway 34 made those two northward turns near Kirkwood and near Monmouth. So at least for southern sections of Galesburg, not going to rule you out of the danger zone just yet, but things are looking a little bit more favorable as this tornado continues in the rural areas south of Galesburg in Knox County, heading toward Interstate 74.
Getting a report from law enforcement reporting a tornado on the ground near Cameron, moving east at 15 miles per hour. Estimated that it will cross I-74 south of Galesburg in the next 10 minutes.
And if you're in Knox County, adjacent to these areas, and you know that you're in Knox County and Cameron's to your west, you need to be taking shelter right now. Back to the desk, here's Gary.
Hey, Eric, we have another interesting perspective from you. This is from the rail yards in Galesburg. As you mentioned, the storm is not in that area yet, but it's quickly heading that way. So we'll be able to keep an eye on things from this image, too, as a unique perspective as this storm starts to approach this region, too, Eric.
Yeah, is that a webcam, John?
Yes, it is.
Is that okay? Then there's a good live perspective. But as you can see, you look toward the horizon, and the visibility outside of the Amtrak station property there isn't that great. So as you look to that other direction, not that one there, because that's kind of looking toward the northeast, I think it is. You know, the railroad tracks there go toward Galva. There you go toward the Burlington Northern Santa Fe Yard, looking to the south and west. There it looks like the rain gets heavier just you know, about a mile down the tracks there, and visibilities get much worse. And that's what we've been talking about. You can't always rely on being able to look at the radar then say, hey, I've seen the rotation on the radar, I know right where the tornado is, because the rain has wrapped that. And I think with those heavy rain indications we're getting on radar right now, that's what's making it very tough to see. So when we say if you're in what used to be Surrey Township or in Cameron, take shelter now, yeah, that's what we really mean. And again, that tornado is getting very close, Teresa, to the Knox County line, even as we speak.
That's right, and also a severe thunderstorm warning now just issued for McDonough and Warren counties until 8:30. We're looking at that right now. Some very heavy rain associated with those storms, and also the tornado warning for Warren County in effect for at least another minute or so. They may extend that. We will be keeping an eye. And for Knox County until 8:15. Again, we're getting reports that a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado located near Roseville, or about 7 miles south of Monmouth, moving east at about 35 miles per hour.
And that's one thing that we should clarify. It's a funnel cloud until it hits the ground, and then it becomes a tornado. And sometimes you really can't see that connection. Sometimes there's kind of a blank spot, and you look from the bottom of what you can see to the ground, and if you can see a debris swirl, then it's a tornado. I don't see one with that particular funnel cloud right there, so I can only say funnel cloud, but that is what we've been dealing with this afternoon, and a lot of these have quickly strengthened and become tornadoes, and we've even seen some more impressive funnel clouds than that right there. But that is some great video because you can see the actual rotation in the funnel and the base of that cloud.
We've actually had confirmation of a couple of tornadoes on the ground by local law enforcement and trained spotters. And again, keeping a close eye on this situation through this evening, as we will continue to see not only these tornadic storms moving through our area, but also torrential rainfall. And because of that, the National Weather Service has now issued a flash flood warning for Warren County in Illinois until 11:45 this evening. So let's zoom in and take a look at some of these storms. I'll take the lightning off so you can better see what's going on. Again, still seeing tornado warnings in effect for Warren and Knox counties until 8:15. And again, very, very dangerous storms. The National Weather Service reporting that the tornado damage threat associated with these storms, considerable.
We do want to show you some images we are now getting of damage. This is from Mount Pleasant. an apparent structure damage there, as well as reports from all around the area of a lot of trees down. But this is our first shot tonight we see. If you are in a safe place and see some damage, please send it to us so we can share it with the viewers, in particular for those who sometimes think we go on and on about these things for our own sake. Of course, this is all for the safety of you and your family. There are serious storms out there, and our job is to keep you informed.
Yeah, and that's a really good point, Gary, because remember, we are on the air nonstop with tornado coverage, and people ask why. You know, it doesn't affect me. Well, it affects a lot of people, and these things move. And it wouldn't be right to talk about one town for about 5 minutes and then leave the air for another 10 minutes and then come back on to talk about another town, because people live in between those towns, and we are trying to fill the gaps with these tornadoes. And this time we have one that I fear we're going to be getting reports of from all night long, of damage, a long trail or path of damage. Hopefully we're not going to get any injury reports, but I think as long as this tornado has been on the ground and some of the reports that we've seen already, we're just going to get more, and that's why we're on the air nonstop, because we need to alert as many people in the path of these storms as possible. And certainly some people are turning on the TV at a certain point where the tornado is either near them or closing in on them, and that's why we stay on wall to wall with the tornado, because people need to know these things move, and our coverage must move along with it.
We have Mike Ortiz, who's the cameraman out there checking out the situation for us. Mo, what do you see from your perspective, and what have you been seeing the past few minutes?
Well, Gary, I traveled along I-80 all the way and then hit 88 to Hillsdale. At that point, I realized that there was some damage in the Port Byron area. I was able to take some back roads. But here in the Timberbrook area of Port Byron, there are a number of houses that have damage to them. One in particular, kind of major damage to the roof. I was able to talk to some neighbors who said what they were seeing was a lot of rotation, leaves and debris in the air. And folks right here right now are starting to clean up. A lot of trees are down.
You were talking about that semi in Biggsville. Here's the confirmation we're talking about. The pictures now coming in. That is a semi apparently either blown over or knocked over, and there's a tree on top of it there. It's kind of hard to make out there right in the center of your screen, but that is the power of this system as it makes its way through.
Flash flood warning in effect for Henry, Rock Island, and Whiteside counties. We saw some very heavy rain move through earlier this afternoon and into this evening, along with those very strong storms. Torrential rainfall where we had already seen some heavy rain earlier in the day. Many locations reporting anywhere from 1 to 3 inch rainfall totals. That's so far this morning. Now we're adding to that, and because we are still seeing some of that heavy rain moving through, a flash flood warning now in effect for Henry, Rock Island, and Whiteside counties until 11:30 this evening.
That video just coming in, what appears to be,
That's
appears to be a funnel
large
cloud.
wedge that we heard about and we were warning people in Cameron about, and all along 34, Gary.
Tell us what we are seeing, though, Eric, with that. I mean, that's obviously, is that the big wedge, the very wide tornado system with lightning surrounding it as well, as we see there?
Well, yeah, so right there. That's why we call it a wedge, because it looks like a wedge of pie. Seriously, it just think of Trivial Pursuit, any wedge. That's exactly why we call these wedge tornadoes. And what we make that comparison for, or why we state them that way, and the lightning there is incredible too, is that means you've got a very well-formed tornado. You've got what we call a mesocyclone, which is the core of that whole thunderstorm is rotating. And when you get that rotation extending to the ground, that's just about textbook. And those are the tornadoes that can cause the most widespread damage. And look at the base of that tornado. It's not a point. It's about halfway into that wedge. That is a wide damage path. And you can see the wall cloud around it likely rotating as well. If we were there where that person who shot that video was, we could see those little elements of the clouds on the backside of that tornado to the right and left that are hanging down. We could see those moving from the right to the left around the tornado. That is a very well-developed tornado.
We do believe now, we have Mike Ortiz, our chief photographer, who's been out in the Port Byron area. We have a live shot ready for you. And as we pull this up, I'm sorry, you'll have to introduce yourself to us. And as we see behind you extensive damage to that house, what have you seen in your area tonight?
I'm Spencer Hughes, and I'm from Port Byron, Illinois. I personally saw the tornado start to form. I was looking out my sliding glass window, and I saw the clouds start to rotate. So then I mentioned to my dad, I said, "Dad, will you come look at this? Make sure that I'm not crazy, that they're not rotating." And then he's like, "Yeah, they're rotating. Everybody get in the basement." And then so my brother and his friend were over, and they got down in the basement. So we're all sitting outside watching, and then I got a video of the tornado while it was in the next edition over from where we lived.
Well, we're glad you got into a safe place. That's the smart move. Now people are starting to come out of their homes as the storm has passed by. What are you seeing out there around you now? Describe that scene.
As of right now, I see all of our neighbors. We're a pretty close-knit community, and we're just trying to help each other out. As you can see behind me, there's a roof that has been blown off, and we're just trying to help each other out, clean up as much as we can.
We've had a number of reports of damage all around the area tonight as well. Tiffany Liu continues our team coverage.
Yeah, she's in Port Byron. You know, we're tracking all these storm systems. We had 2 issued warnings at about the same time. In Port Byron, we saw some significant damage earlier. Tiffany, what do you have for us?
Gary, Sharon, neighbors here tell me it happened shortly after 6:30 tonight when a tornado swept through the area. We also got a lot of viewer photos and videos of funnel clouds that came through. And just driving through the neighborhood, it's clear that something did come through here, and the storm left quite a bit of damage. Now, we are at one of the homes which had a lot of damage. You could see that people are working up top the roof right now. The garage door was also bent. And I actually have the homeowner with me right now, Greg Janicki. I know you told me earlier that you weren't home when this happened, but what was your reaction when you first pulled into the driveway?
It was scary to see, what had happened with the roof blowing off and stuff, but people were already here at work. Our neighbors came to help us immediately. So kind of put the family at ease and my kids at ease that, things were getting taken care of right away.
Have you ever seen any type of storm damage like this in Port Byron before?
I have not. No, I've never seen damage like this before. I know there's been worse than what we've been hit with, but for me personally, this is the worst I've seen.
Now talk to me a little bit about the damage that has happened to your home. What did you see when you came home?
Well, inside there's insulation blowing everywhere. The roof came off on that side of the house, so we have the ceiling exposed so we can see up through the ceiling. The whole attic ceiling's gone. Same thing on this side of the house for the garage and laundry room. Ceiling's blown away. Just insulation everywhere, water damage dripping down into the bedrooms and now into the basement coming down too. So they're getting that patched up at the moment too. Hopefully it doesn't get too much worse.
All right. What were your immediate steps when you came home? I see a lot of crews are out here kind of working, helping you guys clean up.
Just making sure that the people that were here helping had things that they needed too. They were very supportive right away, and I didn't really need to do much. My neighbors and family were here getting to work right away, so I just checked out the damage and just started helping move a few things out of the way and making phone calls to insurance and stuff like that.
Sure. I'm sure in situations like this, we're just grateful that nobody was home and everybody was safe at the end of the day. Well, thanks for joining us. I know you have to take care of a bunch of things right now at this point. Now, tomorrow, the National Weather Service will be out here surveying the damage to determine what exactly came through Port Byron, Illinois. We're reporting live in Port Byron. Tiffany Liu, KWQC, TV6 News.
Tiffany, we saw pretty extensive damage on that home. Are you getting an idea of how many other homes were damaged in the Port Byron area tonight?
Well, just talking to the other neighbors around the area, it doesn't seem like their homes are too damaged, but we did see a lot of uprooted trees. A couple basketball hoops are tilted over and things like that, but it seems like otherwise homes damaged are pretty minor in this area. Greg got most of the damage actually right here on this street.
All right, that's some of the physical damage we saw. Thank you, Tiffany.